All right, hello. Today is the 19th of March. I'm wearing my Naruto shirt today. Eat ramen. Uh, Today is what is today? Day 17. Yes, pretty sure it's day 17. I'll update it in the tagline just in case. Day 17 of 90-day video challenge. I still got to get used to this phone, the Google Pixel 5a, where the camera's in the top left corner instead of in the center of the phone, which means I should be holding it with my right hand. That way it'll better profile me instead of being off to the side more. So anyway, today I'm back in the garage. Wife is in bed, so not trying to disturb her. Happen to notice, my background yesterday was our door to our closet inside of our walk-through closet. So it's an old farm door, or farm style type door. I like the door; it's pretty neat. Anyway, I'm not here to talk about a farm door. So I know I mentioned yesterday I was gonna, well, at least yesterday I did technical stuff, more technical side stuff instead of everything else. What's going on? And touched on one of the things I was going to talk about was eSIM, or possibility of an eSIM. That was one of my subjects. And you know, I know I probably already explained most of it yesterday, or enough of it yesterday anyway. But basically, every cell phone has a SIM, which they've changed over the last 2 decades or so, since cell phones have really been around, a little over 2 decades. Going from the larger SIMs, I can't even remember what the name of it was, to nano SIM and then micro SIM, 3 different sizes. And now there's a fourth SIM, if you weren't aware, called an eSIM. And E does not stand for electronic, it stands for embedded. Although you can think of it as electronic because it is not a physical SIM like the other SIM cards that you have in most phones nowadays. Well, if you have some of the newer phones, you may already have an eSIM. Depending on the carrier and which type of phone you have, as I touched on, in the US currently, it seems like it's only iPhones, and at least with Google Fi service, their Pixel phones, you can do an eSIM with them. Although they do still ship it if you buy a new phone from them, like I did with this Google Pixel 5a, 5G. They do ship it with a physical SIM, so this phone can do 2 SIMs total, one physical, one eSIM. My normal carrier for my personal phone is Mint Mobile, which is very well priced if you guys are looking for a cost-effective type of cell service. You can get unlimited data, talk and text for, I think it's basically $30 a month. I believe it is. Yeah, it starts at 15, and then they got a couple of stages going up, and like $30 a month, you get unlimited talk, text, and data, which is not unlimited high speed. I think it was, I believe it's 35 gigs. Up to 35 gigs you can get at the 5G speed. And then after that, it drops down to 3G speed, I believe. At least no more than 4G. So that's a good service to go with. But unless you have an iPhone, you're not going to be able to use an eSIM, which I found out because the first phone I had ordered, well, technically the second phone, first phone excuse me, the first phone I'd ordered was a Chinese phone, which was supposed to be a cheap replica, I guess, of an S22, and was not really that good. That one had the capability. Dang, I can't even remember now. I think it had a physical SIM and an eSIM. Actually, no, it had 2 SIM slots, 2 physical SIM slots, and a SD card slot. But the phone was not working that well for me anyway, for what I wanted to do. So I decided not to keep that one. It was only 120 bucks. I'm going to end up giving it to my 11-year-old. later on this year, probably when he turns 12. So my second phone that I went to get was Samsung S22, the base unit. Ended up, I was going to order it, or I did order it through Google Fi service, because instead of being an $800 phone, it was going to end up being a $400 phone, as long as I signed up for a Fi service and transfer a number over, which I was going to try to transfer, and it ended up didn't work. Google Workspace had set up a phone number there, and I thought, well, technically you can transfer a number from Google Voice to Google Fi. However, you cannot within the business area, in the workspace, Google Voice setup. There might be some way to do it, but I didn't find it, and I gave up, and I was like, yeah, never mind, whatever. So the S22 I had purchased initially, I thought did come with 2 physical SIM slots, and it did not. It came with 1 physical SIM and the embedded SIM, which I looked at. I was like, okay, I'm on Google Fi. They have eSIMs available, but eSIM's availability on Google Fi, again, is only with iPhone or with Pixels. Google Pixels, at least 5A and above. I'm not too sure if the 4 series is capable of eSIMs or not. So anyway, I was, I had that phone for about a week. I was trying to get the number transferred over. Found out that couldn't happen. Found out I couldn't do the eSIM anyway. So I was like, well, can I return this? They said I could. I was still within the time period to return the phone. So at least I got the $430 something back with the taxes. And then I was looking through their services, or what phones they had available, because they said any of the, at least any of the newer Google Pixel phones would support eSIM, because Mint Mobile, they only support eSIM for iPhone, not for Samsung at all, or any other phone. So I went to look at possibly a Google Google Pixel 6, although I didn't want to spend that much money on a phone at this point in time. I'm just not interested in spending $800 for a phone at this point in time. Once things get going, then I don't mind. But so I was looking around, and previously I was going to purchase the 5A 5G, and it was going to be close to $400. That's why I ended up going with the S22, because I was going to get it for basically the same price, like about $40 more. I think the 5A I could have purchased new for $360 or so, $360. So I ended up going with the S22. That didn't work. So then I find myself going back to the Google 5A 5G, which just so happens at this point, I guess since Google had been releasing their Google 6 and 6A, or 6 Pro, 6 Plus, something like that, they were trying to get rid of stock of their 5A 5G series, because they ended up, you could buy a brand new 5A 5G for, I think it was, again, around $350, or you could sign up for their subscription service, where you get the phone for, it was initially listed at $16 a month with insurance. You pay for the phone for 2 years, and even at $16 a month, it still came up ridiculously low. I think it was under 300. Can't do the math quickly in my head right now. Let's see, 16, 10, 160 plus 32. So yeah, and just under $200 basically for a new phone, just 1 series behind. So well, that's good. I don't really care for the insurance. Found you could take the insurance off. So I end up paying $9 a month for 2 years. And if I stay with Google Fi, then I can get an upgrade for free and keep the 5A 5G. So $9, I'm sorry, that was $16 a month. So 100 and, what did I say, 160, 160, 192 times 2, because that's actually 2 years, not 1 year. So $284, if I got that right. Something like that. Yeah, $284. So still under $300, cheaper than buying new. So after I saw I could take the insurance off, that knocked it down to 90 was 18, 108, 216 bucks for a brand new phone. And I'm probably going to end, well, actually, I'm going to have to stay with Google Fi because the Google Pixel 5a and probably most of the Pixel phones only have one physical SIM slot, but does have an eSIM slot. So long story short, getting back to eSIM, the embedded or electronic SIM, if you want to call it, since Google did send the phone with a physical SIM, even though I was told that you could register it as an eSIM instead. So initially I didn't even look. I just booted up and started connecting to Google Fi service, and then I saw that, oh, it's going to a physical SIM, and the phone software settings shows two SIMs available. So I popped it open, saw there was a physical SIM in there, took that out, redid it, got it to go, and then SIM 2 comes up as the eSIM. So then I was able to move my Mint Mobile physical SIM over into the phone so I can have both phone numbers, or at least two different phone numbers on my phone at the same time. Now for the Google Fi service, it's going to be 20 bucks a month. Well, $20 for the service, $9 for the phone, which again, that's, chump change for a phone. End up paying around 200 bucks for a brand new phone. Pixel 5a, that's with 5G capability, that's a pretty good deal. And the reason for doing this is so that I can have set up a business phone number for the Google Fi service. So I can have all my business numbers or business calls routed to this phone. So I don't have two physical phones, of course. Well, technically I would have three phones because I have a physical phone for actual 9-to-5 day job. And then have my personal phone number with Mint Mobile where I have unlimited data. The thing with having dual SIMs, yeah, you do have to designate, and there's two different varieties of dual SIM setups. There is if I remember these properly here, there's a standby mode, the dual SIM standby, and dual SIM active. The dual SIM standby will only use one of the SIMs at a time. So if you're currently using SIM 1 to do your phone calls, if you get a phone call on SIM 2, you won't be notified of it, apparently. Dual SIM active, which looks like the 5A 5G is basically set up like that, you'll be able to receive phone calls on both numbers. And I haven't tested it fully yet. I just got this started setting this up yesterday. You'll receive phone calls from both phone numbers, but only one of them can be primary for outbound calls and text messaging. You'll get texts and phone calls for both numbers. At least with the Pixel 5a, you can tell it when you're setting up your SIMs, you can tell it that you want either SIM 1 or SIM 2 to be the primary. SIM 2 in this phone is the eSIM, or you can ask it or tell it to have you ask every time. So when you go to place a phone call, you can tell it, hey, are you going to use SIM 1 or are you going to use SIM 2? And you can also name the SIMs so that it doesn't come up as SIM 1 and SIM 2. I have SIM 1 listed as Mint and SIM 2 listed as Google Fi, so I know which one is which. The other thing is that only one of the SIMs can be used for data, which works perfectly fine for me because Mint Mobile, I can have have unlimited data set up on that already. Google Fi, data gets a little expensive with Google Fi. So, for instance, I guess it kind of, no, it is definitely cheaper with Mint Mobile. So the basic plan with Mint Mobile, we'll say is $15 a month, unlimited text and phone calls, and I believe it is 3 or 4 gigs. I think it's 3 gigs, if I remember right. 3 gigabytes of data at high speed. After that, you'll get lower, you'll get kicked down to lower speeds, or much lower speeds. or you can buy additional higher speed data if you need. With Google Fi, every gigabyte of data is $10. So with Mint Mobile, $15 basic with 3 gigs. And then it's goes in increments of $5 for the payment plan. So 15, 20, 25, 30. $30, which is $15 more, you get unlimited data, which is at least 35 gigs of high speed, which should be probably plenty on the phone at this point in time. And I'm not doing gaming and stuff on the phone anymore. I've cut way back on that, so I used to game a lot on my old phone. I'm getting rid of all the, haven't put any games or anything on my new phone. I stopped playing games on the phone mostly starting last October. Had, did a little bit here and there, weaned myself off. I'm off of mobile games on the phones. So I can use all my data through Mint Mobile, pay $15 a month to get unlimited, rather than trying to use Google Fi service, which would for data as well, or separately, where it's $10 a month. You do cap out at $60 a month, and then you don't have to pay for additional data. But why pay for 6 gigs of data for $60 when I can get unlimited, technically 35 gigs of data for $15 more a month from Mint Mobile? So dual SIM will work perfectly for me in that way. The physical SIM with Mint for my personal number with unlimited data, $30 a month. And then the second SIM is an eSIM, the electronic side, which is built into the phone. So you don't have to, if I transfer a phone, I don't have to take the SIM out and move it from one phone to the other. I can just, actually, I know I looked it up, but I can't remember the exact process. As long as you're within the same service, I believe you just delete it from your old phone and set up the new eSIM, set up the eSIM on your new phone and transfer your account transfers over. If you're going from carrier to carrier, that would probably be a different story. At least you can do the number transfer. And if you're able to do eSIM on the new phone with a new carrier, then it will just electronically download to your phone. You do have to install an app in order to get that. So, of course, you have to have Wi-Fi service first or have a physical SIM that has cellular data already built into it. So with like Google Fi, you have to install the Google Fi app in order to activate an eSIM. And since I was at home, I hadn't put my physical SIM in yet, just connected to my Wi-Fi and downloaded and set up the eSIM that way. So that's a little basic stuff and probably too much junk about my stupid phones. Gone through 3 phones just to finally get to where I kind of wanted to be. I did want to have 2 physical SIM slots, but I think, as I mentioned yesterday, the United States seems to be lagging behind on that availability of technology, even though it's been available for, I don't even know how long, several years. Asia, I'm not sure. I don't think Europe uses it as much either. Although, well, most of Europe, I think, does use it as well, but not England. England and the U.S. are kind of hold back still of using single SIM type phones. Although they're available in the market, obviously, because they're being sold, but most of the carriers don't support the electronic SIM unless if it's an iPhone, or at least so far with Google with their Pixel lines. So a little rundown from there, and hope you guys weren't bored too much. Sorry about my throat. It's still going to be a little while before it clears up. I do feel okay. I do get some coughing fits and stuff, but it'll eventually work itself out. Allergy season should only last probably about another three weeks here in Vegas, at least the rough end for me. Allergy season lasts all year in Vegas because of all the different vegetation and grass and other things that grow around here, or imported in mostly. So this was Phil Tingley signing off for the night. What did I say it was? Day 17, I believe. I believe it was day 17. of the 90-day video challenge. Excuse me, 90-day video challenge. Thank you, everybody in Entre, for listening, and anyone else in the world that tunes in and watches my terrible videos. One day I'll start editing. One day. Camille Scott, I'll get there. And keep feeling tingly. Take care.